people call in on the station?
They do. But we probably won't have them call in today. We're gonna talk the whole.
Okay.
We're gonna talk the whole time. Okay. I got you. Did you track it? It's on. It's we live, so it's you can. I think do you need me to tag you or you good?
Oh yeah, he just posted.
It is. Hey family, go ahead on and tag and share. We're getting ready to have a real thorough conversation about gun violence, and we're going to talk about what we must do as a community. So go ahead, tag, share. Let's get everybody in for the real conversation. Nellie Hayes, how are you? Glad you tuned in. Go ahead on tag Trina Wiggins Jackson. Trina said, hello, family. So, Trina, you telling me that you know the family that's in here today. Okay. Trina is watching. Mary, how you doing? It's Wonderful Wednesday right here on the Greg James Community Show. I want you to go ahead on and tag, share. Let's get everybody in today because this conversation is one that's going to be needed. In come the conscious chick. She's here.
I heard the theme song.
Live and it comes.
Hey, people. How y'all doing? Hey.
So this is Miss Ford. Hey. No, this is Miss Ford. This is Miss Gilliard.
Nice to meet you. I'm Christy. All right.
Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
So how you been? Hey, go ahead on and tag, share. Let's get everybody in. They are coming in. We got an amazing show today, and definitely you want to be a part of it right here on Greg James Community Show. Want to say good afternoon, and once again, welcome to a wonderful Wednesday right here in the city of Tallahassee. So much going on in and around our city, and it is definitely a city that we got to keep in prayer because we believe much prayer, much power. And joining me on today, I mean, I just told her, you got to come on. We're going to talk about this big birthday bash that we got celebrating going on. But I told her, you got to cancel that meeting. You got to get here because we got to talk about gun violence. And we're going to talk about them grits and eggs that we're going to be having for our birthday celebration brunch. It's none other than the conscious chick, Christy Henry. How are you?
Hey, family. Hey, y'all. Good afternoon. So glad to be here. You a mess.
Hey, well, listen, I tell you, it is amazing, and we're going to talk about it a little later on in the show. But for those of you who are listening to the broadcast, it is amazing that you got 3 radio personalities born in the month of July, that voices are being heard over this nation, that's keeping you informed, inspired, and motivated. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know how much our signatures are worth, but you can come on out. We'll be signing signatures on napkins on Saturday morning. More than likely, when you get through with the napkin, you're going to throw it away, then you'll throw away the signature. But we're looking for you to come on out. Tell them about Saturday.
So, listen, he is absolutely right. We are, of course, as humble as we are, right? We don't want to lift our own selves up, but we do want to have you all to come out and celebrate with us. We're doing a birthday celebration in Southside at the Signature Lounge.
The Signature Lounge do breakfast?
The Signature Lounge do breakfast, and it's a good breakfast.
Now, wait a minute. I thought it was just a special breakfast because we were having a breakfast brunch, but they have breakfast every day.
They have breakfast, and see, the purpose of it is to bring to the community the attention that the Signature Lounge do breakfast over there in South City. They have breakfast available every Saturday morning.
Oh, so they
open
do Saturday.
Well, they used to do every day, and he gonna talk about that. We're gonna give Mr. Willie. Shout out Mr. Willie over at the Signature Lounge. He gonna talk about that on Saturday. But the main thing is that we want to first of all celebrate all of our friends. All right, we're friends and colleagues and family and love each other. But the same token, use our date of birth to bring attention to an awesome business. He owns his site. African American owns a site on Prime Real Estate, He's like every other business, trying to make sure that people know the door is open, make sure they know he's there for service, for business. So we want to bring the community there on Saturday morning. I know we're asking a lot, Pastor Jack.
How much we ask?
We asking them to wake up at like 8:30 in the morning to come and eat breakfast with us, or to send us a $20 donation, or both, right?
Right.
So listen, we asking the community for a lot, but you give a lot. We give a lot.
Yeah,
We
I mean, I really don't think that's asking a lot when you take in consideration that Nicole, yourself, myself, are constantly being called upon to
Well.
serve, and we don't do it for any type of recognition. We do it because it's our humble service. So we're asking you to just come on out,
Yeah.
wake up, get up. Signature Lounge, owned by African American man.
Mr. Willie, shout out to Mr. Willie. He's the owner and operator of the Signature Lounge. He also is bringing in the cook. These gonna be farm fresh eggs. These ain't no mix and stir eggs. Farm fresh scrambled eggs.
What about the bacon now?
The bacon.
The
It
bacon.
might be some Piggly Wiggly bacon.
Wait a minute now. I hope let's make sure,
It
because
might be some Piggly Wiggly. We gonna confirm that for y'all. All right.
please
So
confirm
you
that.
might not
but
have enough Piggly Wiggly bacon to satisfy the appetite of Southside there, but we're
But
gonna see what they gonna do.
Now I like to I saw some pigs on Facebook running around. I wonder, can we catch and slaughter one of them for some bacon?
I ain't catching the slaughter or nothing. It better already be prepped and cooked, farm fresh, farm cut, farm ready. No, wait, listen, he's gonna cook them. So I want to make sure, Pastor, because they know they seen us slinging pancakes in Southside and
Absolutely.
all over. We ain't cooking no pancakes. We ain't slinging no
No,
pancakes.
no.
You will not see me on a griddle that day, but we will give you a free T-shirt for the Soul of Southside Festival Movement.
And that's what the funds are going.
That's where the funds are going.
So listen, we're going to talk about that more, but that's happening Saturday morning, beginning at 8. We're going to be there from 8 till about 10:30.
That's right. That's right.
And you can come on out, show your love for Christy Henry, Nicole Everett, myself,
Yes.
for the work that we're doing. It's something that we felt like was much needed. Wanted to be able to really give a Black entrepreneur on the South Side an
Yes.
opportunity to bring you all there to see what he's doing. So hats off to Mr. Willie at Signature Lounge.
Shout out.
And when they told me about it, I said, well, I just thought that, it'd just be comedy shows with Keith Rogers and all of them. But now we're going to have some breakfast on Saturday.
Yes.
I might just start having Saints on Saturday for
Sir,
breakfast.
he would absolutely love
What
that.
we
And I
gonna
think
talk
his space is situated for that. And I think when we get into this conversation this morning, we'll see how integral communion and fellowship and eating around the table is so central to creating community conversation, connectivity, and solutions
Absolutely.
to issues that
and I think what we got to do in this hour that we're in, with everything that's happening in our community, we've got to start supporting each other. We got to start it. And one of the things that really bothers me is that when I drive through our neighborhoods, on every corner, the store owners of those corner stores, they all look alike.
That part.
And the only consumers that are going in there is us.
That part.
So listen, we got a lot of work to do, family. And listen, I'm excited about the show today. And the reason I'm excited is because it's two awesome young ladies who have really put on their whole armor to say that we've got to move forward to help and bring awareness, not only just awareness, but we've got to help figure out solutions to the problem of gun violence that's taking place in our community. And here we are just days away from, in a matter of 7 days, 2 young people losing their lives, males. I mean, what do you say, Christy?
Well, I mean, it's a cycle that needs to be broken. And people that are listening, when they're looking at the gun violence in our community, there's a level of desensitization that comes to it, right? Because every summer is like off the chain like this, right? Every summer around these months, you have this crush of violence due to whatever, right? Hot in the city, hot everywhere, right? The block is hot. And I think that what we don't do, Reverend James, is we don't remember that all of these lives are attached to families.
Absolutely.
They're attached to people. They're attached to, there's somebody's son, there's somebody's daughter, there's somebody's girlfriend, boyfriend. They're attached to people. And so today's conversation is going to be really, really great because I think it brings us back central and focused on the lives and not on the violence.
Absolutely. And I think that is important. Let me just respond to one of our, some of our thread listeners.
Yes,
Respond.
yes.
Ms. Stewart said, not only do we support each other, but our Black entrepreneurs also is responsible for showing appreciation to one another. And I think that it's like breathing,
Yes, sir.
is receptible indwelling. It comes in and it goes out. So we certainly appreciate you for making that comment. Go ahead on the tag share. Let's get everybody in. Well, today, listen, we are talking about fighting gun violence. We're talking about what's happening in our city. And joining us today is two amazing young ladies, Miss Felicia Gilliard. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you for having us.
Listen, I am so delighted to have you all. And certainly I'm thankful that you were able to join us so that you can talk about your story. And also, Miss how did I say that?
It's Ritasha.
Ritasha. Can I just say Tasha?
You can just say Tasha.
Okay, it's Miss Tasha Ford. How are you, Tasha?
I'm doing great.
All right.
Wonderful. Well, listen, Tasha, I'm excited about you and Felicia joining us today because I feel and believe that you all are going to say something today that's going to inspire and that's going to really empower our community.
Mhm.
Let's talk about basically starting with you, Tasha. I understand prior to going on air, you've had several family members killed through gun violence.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I have had several family members of mine to lose their life to gun violence, and you know how they say that time heals all things, but time don't heal all things because, like you said earlier, that's somebody's son, daughter, granddaughter, grandson, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever the case may be, and in my case, it was niece, nephews, god brothers, stuff like that, and it's just like, we got to take a stand somewhere, and we just can't wait until something happens to come together. We got to come together before things happen, We can't just run and say, oh, let's go get Reverend James help or Miss Gilliard help to do this. Let's try to come together before these things happen and see what we can do to stop these things from happening, and stuff like that. Because, if we can come together, it should be about togetherness. So therefore, when things happen, we ain't got to worry about everyone linking up, getting together, grabbing sodas and cakes and chicken for a funeral, when you might just need to go down there and talk to this young man or this young woman before all this happened. You could take them on lunch dates, let them know you care, because a lot of times you have individuals, not just young folks, but it's some broken grown folks as well.
Wow.
Everybody's looking for love in the wrong places. And so when you can't find that love and affection you want from certain individuals and certain families, you go out searching. And sometimes when you run into your search bar, you locate the wrong things. And so when people feel like you owe them something and stuff like that, they introduce you to different things. So you go out there, you start committing crimes, and you don't understand how you're not just hurting the family who you kill, but you're hurting your family as well, because it's like a life for a life, because you're going to get caught.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, it's just a lose-lose situation, and a sorry don't make it right. Even when you go into the courtrooms to trial, that still don't fix a broken heart.
That's
That
right.
still don't make things better. Even with the judge giving out life sentences and stuff like that, you still leaving a family hurt. You still took their loved one away. So it's just like, it's time to just take a stand, because if not, we're going to continue to fall for anything.
You better say that now. Woo!
I mean, Christy, just listening to Tasha and just hearing her, and I know we can get back, but it's these kind of voices that has to be at these tables that have solutions.
Well, I think that we need to be trying to find solutions. I think that's the issue, right?
That's it.
And that's the frustration, because you sit around a lot of tables and they mean well, right?
Yeah.
They mean well. I don't mean to,
Right.
I don't want to throw off at all the responsibility, but at the same token, again, that there's got to be solution, and solutions ain't just a one cell phone thing, right?
Right.
It's
Self-
different for everybody.
Right.
She just said,
Yeah.
what it takes for one person,
It may
it may not be for the other person. So they got to be set solutions, not a solution.
But
solutions, and like you just said, active voices
Mhm.
that people trust.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
You know, that can change their trajectory.
Mhm.
Those are the folks that's got to be. We've been talking. How long we've been saying they got to be what?
They be got to be at the table. And you said something, and Ms. Gilliard, I want to bring you in, but you said something that I feel like was so key. Rather than coming together to get chicken and
Mhm.
sodas and food for a funeral,
Yes.
why not do that prior to and in the process of coming together to sit down and eat in a community with a pig? You may win somebody, you may
That's right.
change somebody,
Right.
because like you say, it's a matter of looking for love.
Right.
And
And
if-
not only that, Pastor, but to break it down, it's like a lot of times, like you said, you have so many people that's looking for love. You just don't understand how you just it might be one or two or three individuals, but if somebody see them changing, you don't help somebody change, and then this other person who they're connected to that's broken, they see like, oh, okay, my friend changing, my sister changing, my brother changing, and she can do it, I can do it. You got to lead by example. And there's so many people who out there, like she said, everybody want to say this and say that, but where the solution coming at? And you have so many people that's sitting back not saying nothing, but you didn't just get where you at overnight. So it's like, okay, what can I do? It start with us as a whole. It don't just start on Sunday morning at the church. It start in your homes when your children have friends that come out. We need to be involved in these conversations, and it's time out for just people love to say, "Oh, that ain't my business," but it's time to make it our business, because if we don't make it our business, we're gonna continue to go to funerals. We're gonna have to continue to come up with GoFundMe accounts. People need to know about insurance. People need to know about like
That's
ways
right.
around everything, because it's just you got so many people who just out there just screaming away because they don't know the way. Because if nobody don't show you the way, how will you know?
That's right. Well, Ms. Gilliard, I want to come to you because this week is a weekend of memory to you and to you as well, Ms. Tasha, in the life of a 17-year-old, like your own daughter who you were intimate, that's your granddaughter, but it's like your daughter who you were raising and doing everything you possibly can for. 17 years old, shot 10 times. The car shot at over 20 times. And even though you all had seen loved ones being lost to gun violence, this did it. Because the number of bullets that she had to deal with made you all say, listen, it's time now to rise up, make our voice heard, and be actively involved. When you look at what happened in the life of Lacey, 17-year-old, getting ready to graduate, headed to FAMU, shot 10 times, what did that do for you?
It really just, where it really broke me. And it made me see things as different. And I mean,
I need you to let me push this mic because I want them to hear you. Yes.
okay, it made me view things a little different about life. I mean, I know we here only temporary, and I know God don't make no mistake because He's too wise. But I just don't want to see another kid being gunned down like my granddaughter was. And I don't want to see young males continue to go to prison because it go both ways. Because even though I'm hurt, and I have forgiven them because you're supposed to, but their family have to suffer as well. So there's two sides of families that is suffering. And their family is not at fault, but their family got to deal with them in prison for the rest of their life. And then we got to deal with losing my granddaughter. And then my daughter is in a really bad shape at this time as a mother, not even being able to support or doing anything for the funeral or any of this. She just there with me, and I'm taking care of her. So actually, I have a deceased granddaughter and I have a sick daughter at this time. But it's okay because I know God is strengthening me. So I just want to just save other kids and just reach out to the community and say, let's pull together, and show love and let them know that they are loved and they don't have to do these things. And it is somebody out there that could be a mentor for them, because my granddaughter had a lot of mentors in her life. So therefore, that's how we had her to accelerate the way she did in life. And you can do the same thing with your kids. And it's just, you got to have mentors, because you can't do it by yourself. Even with my granddaughter, I had the grandmother, Miss Betty, helping me, and we had other family members helping me, because my granddaughter, father got murdered when she was 7 years old.
Oh, wow.
So we had to help my daughter raise her. So like I'm saying, we had to deal with that, but we dealt with it. So at the end of the day, it's just like time to come together. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care what side you on. God looking at all of us, and he holding us accountable to help other people. And just because you got all this money and these people are low on this side, really that's losing their life, like the down people. So just kind of help them out. Try to help out some girls, boys, because, sometimes they see the other kid with some things that they don't have. And then they go to envy come in. And then that set into, well, let's take this from them. And then that lead on to other things. And then sometimes they're less fortunate and they don't have. So therefore, if you can help a child, help parents, say, hey, you may not have rent money to pay. Try to, say, hey, we can reach out and, do something, because a lot of times the kids are broken.
Wow. Just listening to Ms. Gilliard and thinking about now her granddaughter, Christique, I want you to hear this, and then Tasha, I want to hear from you, because I understand you had a nephew that was 17 that was gunned down as well. Listening to her and looking at her granddaughter being shot 10 times, and now saying it's time to raise up my voice to say we've got to stop this. Why? Because a family has lost a life, but then another family has lost a life. When it's not at our door, how do we respond? It's like, well, it ain't my child. I don't want to have nothing to do with it. But then when it is our child, then we want everybody calling and whatever. What would you say to that mindset?
She said it earlier. There's just and you said it too. There's just a cultural erosion. Back in the day when we was coming up, the dope culture was the dope culture, right?
Right.
You didn't get caught up unless you was already caught up, right?
Yeah,
if you were dead, you were in it.
Yes.
Now you got people like your granddaughter. You got people who are innocent bystanders. People who are just losing their lives. And I don't know that it's necessarily drug related. I don't know what it is. But it's that regard for life, and I remember being raised around a bunch of older cousins and cousins, and they didn't let us be around certain things. They kept us away from certain situations, right? There was a protective mechanism in place. That's totally gone now, right? So a young lady that's 17 years old can be in a situation where her life could be at risk. Even if you were with somebody that was hot, that somebody was after, they didn't let you get in the car with them. They didn't let you be around, you know what I'm saying? If they knew you were going somewhere, they kept you away. Right? And that's been, 20 years ago? We ain't that old, right? That's been less than 2 decades removed. And so now to see young people this is heartbreaking to hear. But we do have some community work of awareness and responsibility to rebuild. And that's what I hear, Pastor. I hear the work of rebuilding has to be done.
Yes, absolutely.
So I just saw that the young man who did this was 18. And Lacey was 17. And so Tasha.
Woo, she said that.
And so Tasha, your nephew, I understand, was a great athlete. Probably would have been All-American, 17 years old at Ricketts High School, gunned down.
And they both was cousins too.
And they both were cousins.
Yeah.
So this family has seen so many loved ones lost to gun violence.
Mhm.
Yes.
Now, prior to Lacey's death,
Mhm.
were you this actively engaged? I mean, do you think that when this happened with Lacey, it says, like, this is enough. We've got her now, no matter what it costs, no matter what it takes, no matter what people say, we've got to become a voice now to say enough is enough.
It just, not only with just Lacey and with Trayvon, but it was just so many other deaths, you know, from it began to take a toll on me from the Gadsden County community to the Leon County community. And it was just like, it was hitting home so bad one time until it was just, if your phone wasn't ringing because somebody done died, you know, you look on Facebook, you already know how that goes. And it just began to just bother me because it's like, the question is, you know, you never question, you don't want to question God because, you know, God don't make mistakes, but it just puts you in a format where you say, what's next? You know, but then I realized what's next was me taking a stand and saying,
Wow.
okay, you got to, you know, you got to change who you are and, you know, present yourself in a different way so then people can respect you and stuff and have something to look up to. But it's just like in all the situations, it was just so heartbroken because like I said, you know, people quick to say time heals, but most times don't heal those things, you know, because it's like when you try to get yourself together from one situation, they go something else.
else.
Yes.
You know?
So you all were experiencing calls about a loved one dying, like,
Yeah, it was just that bad. It was
Wow.
it was just that bad. Even in Gadsden County, if everyone can recall, the young man Kelton Washington Munduke, that's my god brother. When he got murdered, you know, he was robbed at the hotel. They left him on the interstate in the cold. You know, it's so much. And it's like we stayed up all night long searching for him. I went to work the next day, built a suite, then I get a call at my job. Okay, he dead. The morning Lacey died, I had just dropped my kids off to school and I get that phone call, Lacey dead. I'm just like, Lacey ain't dead. And this call come through Facebook, you know, other family members trying to reach Miss Gilliard, you know, like, well, I know if nobody else have talked to her, you have talked to her because we talk like every day, you know, we're first cousins, but we're just like sisters. And it's like, no, this can't be true because someone would have been there called me. But this particular morning, she hadn't called me yet. So I didn't want to believe it. But when I called and you can't hear nothing but screaming, and so it just tortured me. Well, I just went to screaming and stuff. And then going back with my nephew, it's just like, you get a phone call, oh, Trayvon, I'm like, what? And it's like, well, I just talked to him. And so it's like, you know, it was just so crazy because he had just asked me something about the mall. And so like when it happens, like everything began to just happen at one time. You know how they say you got to take one day at a time, but it's hard to take one day at a time when it seems like more than one day pile up at the same time.
wow. Ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are listening to the broadcast, we are talking with Tasha Ford and Felicia Gilliard, who has, within a span of a couple of years, have lost several of their family members to gun violence. We're talking about 17 years old. We're talking about 20 years old. We're talking about young people who had a promising future. And just here within the last 18 months, Lacey Kitchen, 17-year-old, lost her life to gun violence, 10 shots. And this weekend is the first year celebration of the foundation fighting for gun violence with a weekend in remembrance of Lacey. But what makes this so powerful, Commissioner Richardson, is that this family had seen gun violence happen in this family over and over again. But now to see losing a granddaughter, a niece, family member to 10 shots says it's time for us to do something. Trayvon, maybe 1 or 2 bullet shots, but he's gone. The other young man, the other young lady, all of those. But to see 10 shots to your granddaughter means that, hey, we've got to do something. So this weekend, tell us about this weekend, what this weekend is in remembrance, but it's also a call to action for people in the Walker Ford community, in the South Side, North Side, everywhere to wake up and say, we've got to save our community.
Correct. And that's why I took it back to Walker Ford for the kids that's in the community that, you know, they can walk if they don't have a car. Because the Saturday event is a community event. So therefore, I don't want any kid to not say, hey, I wanted to be there, then I couldn't get there because of transportation. So this weekend is in the memories of my granddaughter. She would have turned 18 on Friday, July the 21st. She always celebrate her birthday as a holiday. This birthday is a lot because this is when we were supposed to be opening her store, Imperial Galore, because she would have been graduating from School of Alveda in cosmetology. So what she was going to do is open the first shop here in Tallahassee, because she was going to go to Florida A&M to fitness school. So once she finished, then she was going to expand all over the world. So that was her goal, to not work for anybody. She wanted to own her own business, and that was, she just wanted to do all over worldwide. So with that being said, that was the grand opening because it was her birthday, and then try to just, you know, get people out, because a lot of people know, you know, that she was gunned down, because they call it gun down, and bring out, you know, invite people out to the community, and actually to give back as well, because a lot of people showed a lot of support at her funeral. I know it was every bit about 300 people to the funeral. I don't really recall counting them, but I know it was a lot of people. And I thank the people for coming, and I thank them for showing support. So I said, well, with that being said, maybe we can reach some of these kids or people that was there and let them know, hey, if you got a gun, put it up.
Right.
Don't get angry and use it. It's not that serious to take away somebody's life, because you're gonna go and your life gonna be taken away too.
Wow.
So Friday will be the event. It's a dinner, and Friday night is a dinner.
Okay, what's happening on Saturday?
And Saturday is
Community event.
It's a community event. We'll have some speakers coming
What
out.
time? What
It's
time?
from 12 to 5.
12 to 5. Okay.
12 to 5. We'll have guest speakers coming out, and then we'll have a fashion show, and then we'll have a little eating, and then everybody could just, you know, communicate, talk, whatever, meet and greet. So,
What
and
about
that's
Sunday?
Sunday is a church event, and it's at Mount Sinai,
Okay.
and that is a musical program, and it is started at 3, and it's hosted by Miss Brenda.
Okay.
And everybody is welcome as well. And if I didn't say, the event started at Walker Ford on Friday at 6 to 9, and everybody is welcome. Now the event Friday night, we have tickets, so it's kind of like sold out for Friday night. But Saturday is the community event. So we tried to do we try to bring everybody in. Like if you didn't want to do the dinner, because everybody was invited to the dinner. And if the community is gonna be from 12 to 5, so you can go in and out, if you like. And then, you know, Sunday, if people wanted to come to church. So we just try to make sure that we do 3 things and then invite everybody. And then I wish I had a van to take the kids to church, because the church is out on 27, but unfortunately I don't. But I wish somebody would bring some kids if they would like to come to church.
Wow.
So somebody with a van out there
Yeah,
that
yeah,
transport
yeah.
some kids, y'all
Y'all get in touch with Miss
Yeah.
Debbie out. And one of the things that I want to say is that Commissioner Curtis Richardson said, well, I'll be attending the church services. He said she was a phenomenal young lady, finishing high school at the age of 16. Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So this is what's important to our community. And what you all are doing, I think, Christy, is very important, because this is an hour, and I think, Tasha, you said it, that we can't keep saying it's none of my business. Because once it happens, it's everybody's business. So if we can prevent it from happening by making it our business to say, hey, we've got to do something in our communities. We got to come together. And the problem that we're seeing is Black on Black. And what bothers me the most, and I'll probably get in trouble, and I may lose some people from coming to the breakfast.
Okay, all right. No,
But what bothers me is that Black lives really don't matter to Black people.
Oh, that's a hard statement. That's a hard step, and I'm not going to clean it up because some things need to go out.
I mean, here it is, an 18-year-old, a 17-year-old. Trevon Howell, 17.
They both were 17.
17, and he was murdered by another black male.
Yes.
And nobody is raising the roof. Nobody.
Well, the question is, why? Why did your daughter get shot 10 times? Why? I mean, do they know why?
They haven't even given me the cause of what happened. I just know that they have 3 shooters, because it was 3 shooters. 1 they have revealed, 2 they have not revealed. They have not revealed everything to me. I don't know who even rented them apartment in Southwood. That's another question. So my mind is wandering everywhere. How could they pay $3,000 a month for an apartment? That's the question that I want to know. That is the answer. And the apartment is the key.
Wow. Hey, listen, we're talking with Alicia Gilliard and Tasha Ford. They are having an amazing weekend coming up. Stay tuned, take a break. We got to pay a few bills, and then we'll be right back. Keep it locked right here, 95.3 FM. I'm Greg James.
Christine Henry.
And listen, we'll be right back.
I think this is so heartbreaking
Yeah,
for
it is.
everybody that's still listening on the Zoom. Don't mind me. I may say a couple things that may not sit well with your spirit, but you in a conversation.
And it's like,
How?
and you right about the Black Lives Matter. I mean, we're not on live already.
Yeah, we
right
stay
there.
live. We can't. You can say what you want to say.
Well, say no. I think that so in the spirit of what she said earlier is that we sit back and don't say nothing. Can we sit back and don't say nothing? You know, this is atrocious.
It's like this right here. It's like this right here.
It's atrocious.
You know,
Let's turn it down.
we have been asking for donations and sponsorship. You go to people, they'll say, "Oh, I get back with you," and they don't never get back with you. And it's a lot of African Americans, you know, like that you're asking. And
You know, this is atrocious.
it's a lot of African.
But I think what we've got to do is this is key, and this is what bothers me the most is that we've got to start really valuing each other. I mean,
Yes.
and I don't think we do that.
I think we do it on levels.
On that.
Right, on levels. But you know, that old school mindset on all levels that we take care of each other. It is and guess what? It ain't their responsibility to fix us.
Hey, we hey, listen, offline, man, we were going in, but we're back on the air, and we had to get the church fam.
Tune into the stream live.
Yeah.
Tune into the stream, y'all.
But Miss Felicia started speaking in tongues.
Okay.
Hey,
She had to
listen,
catch herself, y'all.
yeah, she had to catch herself.
And for good reason.
And it was for good reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, because I think all of us have come to understand, and we're really getting frustrated when people say Black Lives Matter. I think we're really getting frustrated because at the end of the day, I think that if we was to take that's something outside, but I think if we was to take a more active role in what happens in our community. And I think if we was to take a more active role and participating in our community, then I think people would understand that Black lives really matter.
Yes.
When we see just what happened. I mean, and I'm grateful for the proud team that we have that go out and pray. But I also would like to see a team of young men who can go out and say, listen, we're going door to door in this community, and we're going to see how many fathers are missing from these homes, and we're going to see what children are without a father. We're going to see how we can become a mentor in these homes where there's an absent father, and I think then we'll be able to say, wow, Black lives really matter, because we're doing something, not just when a white person shoots a black man, a black boy. We want We want to tear down the city. We want to burn down the buildings. But what happens when? I mean, here it is, 2 family members right here that in the last 2 years probably have lost 4 to 5 family members to gun violence.
If we
And how many people have knocked on your door to say, "How can we help you?"
a few people have, and we
How many organizations?
one,
How many pastors?
a few pastors.
So what you're saying really is that there needs to be, and it's really awesome. I see Miss Doris Strong on the line here. Hey, Mama D, who's with Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice, who has a similar story in terms of survival. And I think there needs to be an intentional approach. While we're talking about prevention of gun violence, there also needs to be a approach to really helping people who are dealing with the trauma.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? Because some of these unrealized and unmitigated traumas, because some of these kids, if they're experiencing gun violence or somebody in their family have died, they think it's their responsibility, an eye for an eye, right?
Absolutely.
And so retaliation. And so I think there needs to be some really dedicated attention paid to having trauma recovery centers, some type of center that deals with trauma recoveries in our community that puts together all of the resources, right?
In our community.
And shout out to
Right.
TPD and to the state of Florida who pays for a lot of our funerals, right?
Absolutely.
Who they pay for through their victim advocate process. Y'all want to talk about the popo play for the funerals around here,
Correct.
okay? When the families can't afford to.
That's
So
state
that's
attorney's
I just want to say that the state attorney's office, they pay for these funerals. So why are we mad at the authorities? The authorities are bearing the financial brunt of this stuff in the streets. So the great conversation that you're bringing today is, what's our place? What's our role?
And I think this is just my thought, and I've been saying this forever and ever, and I believe Tasha, you will agree, and I believe Felicia, you will agree as well, that and you said the Trauma Recovery Center.
Yes.
Just imagine in the neighborhood of Walker Ford. Just imagine in the neighborhood. How many abandoned homes or homes do you see in that neighborhood that are just vacant? A lot of them.
I mean, if they vacant, they probably can't pay rent and they probably been evicted. But
No, just a vacant house and grass growing up.
Oh,
Do you see those in the neighborhood?
well, I really don't really pay attention. I don't live in the area. I used to work in the area, and I'm from the area.
Okay.
I grew up over there. But I do go back because my mom lived over by Jacobs. But like I'm saying, I really don't pay attention, but I do know it's a lot of poverty over there. And I know it's a lack of resources,
Okay.
like you're saying. And the people really is in need, and they don't know what to do. And sometimes people don't even know how to get out. It's just so luckily that, I made it out.
Okay.
But I got people that didn't make it out. And I know a lot of people in the community and they struggle, and they just stop.
Okay. Look, I want to stay there because I want to come to you, Tasha. And I'm asking this for a reason, because I want to paint a visual to the 10,000 that are listening to us. I want them to see this. I want to see how we can create a beacon light inside of our communities. Would you say if you drove through the neighborhood, whether it's Walker Ford or whether it's Appalachian Ridge or whether it's Basin, Dover, Dent, as we drive through there, we would see vacant homes? We would see houses that are just there that nobody's living in?
Not so much no more, because they're trying to get them houses, because we have a huge scarcity of houses here. So not so much. If they're boarded up and vacant, it's because they probably got title issues.
Okay.
More than likely here. So and investment is coming south and is going north. I don't want to paint a picture that investment is not present. I think voice is not present.
Okay.
You said something very critical at the beginning. The table, right? But we probably need to break the table.
Yeah.
Because the table comes with a preconceived notion of what it's going to take to bring the solution to the bear.
Absolutely.
Okay, and we know that there is no solution. There are solutions, right? There are pathways. It's not a one size fits all, right? And you know better than everybody.
Well, I just envision this. I just envision this in our neighborhoods where there's high crime, where there's poverty. I just envision a you call it a trauma
recovery center
I just
or network.
I just envision a house within that neighborhood that employs the neighbors.
A one stop.
A one that when Miss Johnny Mae needs to get to the store, she got somebody at that house she can call that can come pick her up. Formerly incarcerated guys becoming security officers, patrolling that neighborhood because they know the guys who are hanging out on the street. Like we talked prior to coming on the air, there are some guys in all of our neighborhoods that everybody know that they look up to. And these guys are entrepreneurs. They do things in the community. But what happens if we empower them to do even more? They're doing what they're doing with the 2 little fish and the 5 loaves of bread that they have. I mean, I think just this past weekend, over 3,000 people gathered over in Walker Ford for what? The reunion. I mean, and just imagine if we were able to just gather 100 of those men who in the community that people see, that got their own businesses, that are major voices and models for our young people. Just imagine if we were able to help them fund the program to mentor these children. They already doing it.
Right, and they look up to them.
Do you think that'll impact our communities?
Yes, the boys will make a difference. And I grew up with I grew up with all of them. And those boys look up to those young men.
And these young men are entrepreneurs. They done been in prison. They got their own businesses, but they're limited as to what they can do.
Correct.
But they do what they can.
Right.
But they don't have a seat at the table. See, I got to stop because I'm about to.
You need to break the table. And the issue is the table.
Yeah, the
I mean,
table. We got
the issue is the table.
And Pastor Young, Bishop Young, we got to create our own table, and we got to create what chairs are at the table and who's coming to the table. Because at the end of the day, this cycle that's continuing is not helping where there is hurt.
Yeah, it's time to take a lot of the limited seating away and make it unlimited.
What?
Because
say that again. I like that.
it's time to take a lot of the limited seasons away and put unlimited, because you have a lot of people that want to do more, but due to their past, and everybody be so stuck on, she was a prostitute, she was a hoe, she was a fiddler, she was this, she was that. Until now, it's like they have changed. They're making a difference. They have people who look up to them. You have a lot of guys, especially men from over that area, from the barbershops to the car washing and stuff. They do a lot of great things for the community, and a lot of times it get overlooked. But at the same time, like you said, they're not at the table, because a lot of times people feel like you don't deserve a seat at the table because you might have graduated from FAM and I might have just went to TCC, but guess what?
And I might not even went to
no
school.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's people that want to do more and that can do more, but they don't know where to start because nobody gave them a key to start with.
Well, so as I'm listening, and I go back to my, previous days working with the brothers, in the community.
Right.
I think that what the problem we face is that it's an issue that's resource rich. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not fool ourselves. There's a lot of interest and investment in the issue of gun violence.
Correct.
Okay. Let me just state some truths here. The issue is that there needs to be an umbrella intermediary organization that handles the translation of the impact and the fiduciary responsibility of the resources. Because nobody want to put money on the streets you can't put public dollars on the street without public accountability. And so that is where the issue. So I think it goes back to this kind of imagined one-stop shop. This community trauma recovery center. Somebody called me this morning and said, hey, somebody called me and shout out to Mother Stanley in the South Side giving out food at Mon Community Clinic today. She called me, she said, Christy, is there a food stamp office in the South Side? Because it's a guy trying to unlock his PIN and he can't get his PIN number. He got $2,000 on his card. He can't get to the money to go buy groceries because he got to get a PIN number. And they told me he got to go all the way to North Monroe to get the PIN number reset. I understand why he got to get it reset in person. Okay, we all understand that, right? But why you got to go all the way to North Monroe when you just barely getting around Southside?
And this comes to
if that's the case.
But even if that's not the case, this comes to your point. What if in every community
Mhm.
there was a resource center there?
Mm-hmm.
What if in every community there was a program there?
Mhm.
And what if those programs were operated by people in that community? And if I was to use you for an example, Tasha, say you was the manager of the resource house in Walker Ford.
Mhm.
Would people in that community respect the work that you're doing for that community?
I will make sure they respect the work because I'm gonna get out and work.
So we've got to make investments in people who understand the communities in which they live.
Correct.
And what happens is when Tasha get out and work, she's going to bring all of her friends who understand what she's doing for the
Right.
community. All of the children are going to be involved. And guess what? There's a level of accountability that's going to happen because Tasha is from that area. Miss Joey know Tasha. All the boys who sit on the corner know her, and they know when she's walking the street, she's making sure that our community is clean
and
and safe.
So
I
agree,
hope more than
agree.
the commissioner
Right.
is listening.
Well, and I think there's a lot of people, because a lot of people responded, but I think in addition to community security, there is that nuance of treating the trauma.
Yes.
Something happened to you,
Yes.
you'll never recover.
Absolutely.
You will never, ever recover. You will find a way to function,
But never recover.
but you'll never recover.
But hold up. The family that has encountered murder, listen to what she just said earlier. After one murder, the phone rings and they're hoping and praying that it's enough, and it is. So there's a whole family that has gone through 5 to 7 murders. And how are they dealing with it? Oh, we'll get through it. So I think you are on to something.
And a lot of times, not to cut you off, Pastor, it's to the point now where when something happens, when it first takes place, it's so important to everybody. Everybody want to be a part of it when it's
Yes,
so,
baby.
they want to, like I say, they want to be there. They want to come meet and greet every night, fried chicken, fried fish, do everything they can do. But people don't understand when you're going through something and when you lose loved ones, your most vulnerable moments come in that week after. Those days after when you're cleaning your house and your loved one fall on your mind and you want to pick up your phone or your cell phone and say, well, let me check on him, and you can't check on him. Or you say, well, let me see what he doing or let me see what she doing, but they're no longer with you. But that's where togetherness coming in. You don't need people when stuff is just going on. You need people. Sometimes you just need people to say, well, hey, how you doing, Pastor? The strong get weak too. You can't always be the one going out to help make a difference. Sometimes you need to check on the strong ones and the weak ones. It's just like we be so stuck onto, oh child, I'm just giving them some time. But that little time that you have gave them, you thinking, oh, I'm just giving them some time. That's when they really needed you the most.
Wow.
You get what I'm saying? Because, like you said, it's something that you don't recover from. I don't care how you try to see it, you can know God and all this and all that. We all know God. We know how to pray and everything, but you still need an inner fixing.
That's
It's
right.
just being honest.
That's right. And Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice, they provide a platform for it, but I think you're taking it to the next level. We need a comprehensive approach to compassion.
Yeah,
right?
because
on the community.
absolutely, because how many people in the community know about crimes?
They should know.
But how many they
Well,
don't
and
know.
they should. So
But
let me say it. They should
They
know.
should.
And they can know.
They
know?
can.
And I think the responsibility is, as you talk about breaking this table and building a buffet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, because
that's what it is.
break the table
And build a buffet.
and build a buffet because
And-
people need to come at the food they want. They don't.
And I'm just using Tasha.
I'm just saying,
I'm just using Tasha for an example. And if Tasha is managing this community resource trauma recovery center in the Walker Ford community, then Tasha is going to make everybody in that community aware of what's on the buffet table that's available to you. So now, Miss Felicia and her family needs to know that, hey, listen, we got counseling available for you. You don't have to go through this by yourself. Let me get you an appointment. Let me get a counseling center over here to your house so that you can talk to them. And don't feel bad because you need this.
And when we was talking, we're not the selfish type. It's just, even though we're celebrating Malaysia this weekend, it's not just about who we have lost. You have a lot of broken families. Like
Lots.
within the last couple of days, everybody's taking a loss. So it's like, let's just not make it about our family or the next family. Let's just make it about everybody, just togetherness. Everybody matters,
So I think
Yeah.
with that thought, maybe it would be more instrumental if we're talking about table building to bring that community together.
Yeah, I like that.
To bring the community of lost together.
And that's
The
what
families.
that's what we're doing.
That's what you have to, that's what, and how we can aid bringing together families that have lost, particularly to crime and to
Yes.
violence,
Yeah.
right? Because it's different when you lose a loved one to an accident, or not that it doesn't, you don't
Right.
feel it, right?
Mhm.
But senseless gun violence, 10 shots, that's senseless, right? It only takes 3 to really kill somebody. Why 10? Why 25? It needs a different approach. And so that's where I see, Pastor, the leadership.
Coming together. And prior to going on the air, I think Ms. Gilliard was saying that throughout the course of this, she's been bringing families in that have lost loved ones. She's been meeting, and I think they've been gathering. But I think what this conversation birthed for us is to now say, let's create that bond among those families. And perhaps, let me ask you, just beyond your family, how many other persons that you just really sat down with to talk about what you've experienced? Have there been any other families besides the one you've reached out to?
Well, we have, like I had said before, we have what is Demario.
Oh, we have Mario Murray. He was, that's family too. Roe, he was murdered. FAMU homecoming.
So
At the halftime.
But I'm saying besides family,
Yeah.
besides your family.
that's
They
not.
haven't-
He's not. It's
we
not our
have,
family.
yeah, we haven't reached out to any other families like that, and that's what we want to do. We want to make it a togetherness thing. We want to let everyone know that we're in this together.
Yeah.
So I think that this causes another conversation to happen,
Yeah.
maybe a town hall
Oh,
conversation to happen. And even if there's 25 families that come together, and say, hey, this is our experience, that can inform our local government on how resources can be appropriated to deal with the low-hanging fruit, and that's the grieving and loss process, right?
Yes,
And
correct.
then engage you as a leader with resource organizations that are working currently in this space.
Yeah.
Because they need you as much as you need them.
Correct.
You get what I'm saying?
Correct.
And I think that from there you birth authentic, legitimized, translatable solutions to the gun violence conversation. Because I just feel like it's a bunch of people. I was reading this morning my devotional, Pastor, and it was saying how when you're bleeding, you're in pain. How when something is bleeding, it usually is painful. And that is to alert the body that something is wrong. And you got a lot of bleeding families out there that is in pain.
Correct.
And are we hearing them? Are we hearing their pain? Are we hearing them hurt? We see, right, the gun violence overall. We see the incidents, but we don't see the families.
Correct.
We see the news, the byline,
Right.
right? And we may see a crying parent with a t-shirt
Right.
And a picture.
and a picture. And then, you know what I'm saying? So I think our community coming together with these families that have experienced loss and people that support that conversation
Yes.
and not having a table,
Correct.
just having a pool of conversation where ideas like what Pastor talked about, and ideas like what you're thinking about
Correct.
that address the issue with plausible solutions with an S.
Correct.
Then you start building your buffet table, and then you can find a way for public dollars to find their way into that. Because I believe with the life of me, and I say this public, that our city and county wants to come up with a solution to this, but it ain't something that government can solve.
No.
Correct.
And we got about 30 seconds left, but you're right. And I'm grateful that you all were available to come and be a part of this show. This weekend, let me make this announcement.
Yes.
This weekend happening at the Walker Ford Community Center beginning at 12
Yes.
on Saturday from 12 to 5. Those of you that would come out, it's going to be an amazing time. It's the memory celebration of Lacey Kitchen, 17-year-old that was killed here within the last year. Today, tomorrow will be her
That's-
Friday,
It's her birthday.
her birthday. So you want to come be a part of this whole weekend celebration. For more information about it, you can go to Latasha Ford on Facebook, and she's have all the information there. Or you can stay on this page, and we'll drop that information. It's an amazing weekend that's going to be happening. Felicia, Latasha, thank you all so much for coming and just sharing your heart.
Yes.
And then thank you for stepping up to say enough is enough.
That's right.
And I want to say, Christy, that I think that we have work to do. And I like what you said, that the city and the county, they want to do, but we just got to figure out where they fit in. But the real help has to come from us. We've got to start helping us. And I just feel and believe that in every community, there are 20 churches on one street.
Correct.
Some church got 22. Some streets got 22. So we've got to figure out how do we come together as a unified body of Christ to really be the salt of the earth and really make a difference. We're shouting and people are shooting.
Correct.
We're screaming and the neighbors are cussing. When are we going to really get into the pavement and become problem solvers to the violence that we're seeing? With that being said,
Amen.
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 Amen. Hey, listen, Tasha, anything you want to say with the last 30 seconds we got left?
Nothing, but thank everyone for tuning in. And if you're not doing anything this weekend, we appreciate if you come out and show us some love and support. And for all who have donated, call, text, we appreciate it from our heart. And we're looking for to going to the top and keep making a difference in the community.
All right, Miss Felicia, you want to wrap up by saying anything with the next 30 seconds I got?
Well, I would just like to thank you all first for having us.
Oh my God, yeah.
Thank everybody that have donated and thank everybody that is gonna come out. It's much appreciated and I love everybody.
Well, Christine, I guess we'll see everybody Saturday morning.
Lots of breakfast happening. So please come out in the South Side. 8:30, y'all. Come on, get your plate. Mr. Willie at Signature Lounge. We are asking for a minimum donation. Hit up the event on Facebook and Eventbrite. We hope we know some of y'all gonna get a personal phone call.
All right.
But we'll see y'all there.
And you may be seeing me, Christy, and Nicole live before the week is out, before Saturday, to make that last push. So with that being said, listen, it's been an amazing show. I want you to keep your head up high. And I want you to remember all the activities that are going on this weekend,
Yes.
especially the remembrance of Lacey Kitchen. It's at Walker Ford Friday and Saturday. You want to make plans to join them. And then Sunday at the Mount Sinai AME Church on Highway 27. Until then, listen, it's your responsibility to make our community a better place.
Amen.
So let's get to it.
That was good. Listen.
Hey, family, that was
first of all,
amazing.
Your Lacey.
Yeah.
She
That was amazing.
She had a little online store called Imperial Galore. She